I want to go back to what you said about judgment too, because I want you to also think of it like this way. If we were like on the street, right, and someone just shouted at us saying, "Hey, your podcast stinks," we would like if we're some random stranger, we don't even know who that is, we would just shrug that off immediately. Like we wouldn't even think of it twice.
Right.
But why does it have to be different when like a close relative of ours says, I don't really don't like that podcast of yours." Like that's gonna really like get some thoughts running through your head. So anytime you have like that fucking fear of judgment, because I like this shit hits so close to home. When starting this podcast with you guys, I was always thinking like, what are the people around me in school gonna think? And starting my channel too, I would think like, well, what about Josh and what are the guys gonna think? Or what are my girls gonna think, dude? But if you can like connect that to that stranger's thoughts, then there's no fear at the point. You're just gonna shrug off any negativity that's gonna come at you because that's inevitable. People are gonna say
I
fucking
don't like
clown your
that.
shit.
You can't what's the right word? That's just human psychology. You can't unwire what we're engraved. Humans are meant to be loved, are meant to feel an empathetic manner towards others. You can't erase that. The people that you love are always going to mean something to you in terms of their comments. You can't just make them into strangers. It's just not how humans are wired.
I don't agree, dude. Because if those same like you're gonna process
But that's
those
human
thoughts.
nature. You can't break
No.
human nature. You're an animal at the end of the day,
Here-
right? You're a human.
Mhm.
You can't change that, no.
Here's how I think of it though, because I even got this from this TikToker.
It's
His
not
name.
perception. though.
Listen. This guy was Squid. His name's Squid, and he started his own business, clothing brand, right?
Mhm.
And when he had this conversation at a family dinner, his aunt came up to him and she told him, "Yeah, this isn't gonna work." He literally responded
You're
saying,
right. I
"I've told
remember
this story."
you
So
said
he
that,
said he literally responded saying, "Yeah, you're right." Like he fucking agreed with her. He didn't believe it for a second. He processed her her feedback, whatever, and then just shrugged it off immediately because he's not gonna waste his time and argue about it. He knows he doesn't care what she actually thinks and that's something he wants to pursue. If he had stuck to what she had said and said no, just he let that get into her head. Don't start the clothing brand. It's not a good idea. I don't think it's gonna work. Then where would he be now? Like it's a whole different story. Process what those loved ones are saying, but that doesn't mean you have to listen to it. Of course, you're gonna actually the same way you processed what the stranger's thoughts
Right.
said. You processed him saying, "Oh, your podcast sucked." You shrug it off immediately.
Right. You
So
consider
your loved
it, but
one's
doesn't
gonna
mean you
say
have to do it.
something. Process that they're saying this. Just shrug it off, because Stephen Harvey says God didn't show it to them. God showed it to you.
Oh, I love that.
And then
That's
that's
great,
just the truth at the end of the day.
It's also too like God didn't put us on earth to make money. He didn't put us on earth to just fucking go to college and get a job. You know what I mean? So it's like I think of it as like I saw this in a book. It's like society's scoreboard. It's like society is this like game that they're playing. It's like
where we go
fucking
again.
Monopoly,
Life's a
right?
game.
But when you glitch out of it, when you come back a little bit and you understand it's like life is more spiritual. It's more of a meaning. It's more purposeful. You kind of look you look at the score like the society scoreboard from the outside, and you kind of can create from there. You know what I mean? So you're not inside and all this negativity.
Yeah.
Something I noticed about like all like the bots too, since we're talking about glitch, the people that are like AFK, the people that do say these comments, they're just distracted. They're so like fogged up in the mind. Like I used to be one of those people, just like yeah, just like follow everything. You know what I mean? And it's like I feel like almost compassionate for those people because it's not their fault. Like if you actually explain some evidence to people about, okay, this is why I'm like, for example, this is why we do the podcasts, and you actually sat down with them and like explain them to them, instead of because you know what I mean we can go up to someone and be like, oh yeah, we're doing a podcast, be like, oh like you know what I mean, they'll be like, oh nice, but they'll be like, that's not gonna work.
Yeah.
Because there's some doubts in their mind. You know what I mean? They don't understand. Like people know
Right.
that working out is good. People know eating good is good for you, but why don't they do it? It's because they don't actually like they're not like awake.
They're not there, yeah.
Yeah, that's facts.
They're running on autopilot. Like you put some food in front of them and they'll just fucking eat it. Have you ever been at a buffet and you fucking like see all the stuff, you just start grabbing stuff randomly? Why? Why did you just pick this thing up, this chip, and then eat it? Why?
Because
Like,
you want it.
Yeah, because you want it.
No, but like you like when I'm at a
No,
buffet,
he
right?
means like unconsciously just
When
do
you
what you
unconsciously
see
just like
maybe
start
other
picking
people do,
things, you know what I mean?
or you're not there in the moment. I've done things where I'm not like there in the moment. That's like unconscious decisions.
I call it the AFK brain.
Yeah.
I'm not following. When I go to a buffet and I find the food I want, I just pick it up.
Well, it doesn't have to be about that. It can be about
Oh,
like
yeah,
some
yeah.
other stuff.
Okay,
What I
yeah,
usually-
but you know, I understand the analogy.
Yeah.
I understand what you're getting at.
It's like
I just really I take food very seriously.
exactly. It's
You're
like that.
different, yeah.
That AFK brain. It's like people are just not awake. They're not glitching out of the matrix. And some people they want to be in there. They want to be stuck in there. And some people they want to get out, but they don't know how. So how can someone glitch out? What do you guys think?
Eliminate fear of judgment.
How?
Go against the crowd even.
Well, yeah, what I said earlier, maybe not rewire your brain, but understand that it's your life, it's your vision.
Changing your perspective.
Yeah, changing your perspective. Eliminating fear of judgment.
Yeah.
Just getting rid
What
of
did you say?
distractions.
You can't change
I
not
say go
caring
against the
about what
crowd.
others
Yeah,
think about you.
yeah.
You can't change that, but you can change how you perceive taking the leap. It doesn't have to be this extremely scary thing.
You can also
Like,
control your life.
I also like so I forget what it is. It's like the law of salami, not law of salami. Just like salami. If you can cut into pieces and realize, rather than having to look at the big picture and saying I have to get successful, rather of okay, I gotta start fixing my sleep schedule. Let's just start there. Let's rock that for a week. Make sure we achieve that goal. Beautiful. All right, let's transition to, and this is, let's say, the goal of, let's say you want to become a bodybuilder. All right, let's get it up a notch and eat 4 meals a day instead of 3, and incrementally increase. I think that's a great way to start. Absolutely. You can't start thinking, okay, how do I go from 100 pounds to 500 pounds? An analogy. So, kind of breaking into pieces, I think, is a great way to start the glitch, because it's so scary. It's so dark, right? That's the whole point of a risk, is it's dark. You can't see what's behind it. You can't tell if you're successful. So if you can just start with the traits of a successful person and then build your way up, I think that's a beautiful way to start.
You know what's crazy is like once you go, you never go back. Like
Yeah.
I could never stop doing this. You know what I mean?
Have you-
I could never just stop trying to reach my goals. Like, I can never go back now. Like I cannot just be
'Cause
average.
you know the difference.
I know
the big difference.
I know it's like that lifestyle is so meaningless and so just like mundane. It's so boring. Like
it wasn't
like,
yours.
something deep down inside of me, like my emotions, like anger. Like I get frustrated when I'm not getting better, and that's like I'm grateful for that because I don't want to go back. You know what I mean? So
I think all of us, I'm sorry, I want to just quickly chime in on here with what I was saying, taking it day by day. All of us, when we first started working out, were so scared because of what other people would think, that we were small in the gym, that we want
didn't know
these
what we were
huge
doing.
physiques and everything, like we really want, but we nothing like this. What did we do? If you really think about it, we just went every single day.
We just showed up.
We just showed up.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. We showed up. That's the only difference. Only difference. If you were to show up every day, you can't fail. You cannot fail. You cannot fail physically if you don't die from some unpreceded death. If you just show up for a consistent period of time, an extraordinary period of time, you will succeed.
And you'll get in the rhythm. And you
Mhm.
already like speed up, and then from there you only go up.
And if
Exactly.
you ask how you show up, you just do. You just do. There's no answer. Everyone's so different, right?
Jordan Peterson. Okay.
One of the last things that I have to say is I want to go back to what you said, how you go against the crowd.
Right.
Have you guys ever seen the photo? It's just like a bunch of like
There's a lot of
white
photos,
stick.
bro.
Just you didn't fucking hear it yet, bro.
I know what you're talking about. Like one person sticking out.
No, there's well, yes, kind of like
Yes.
it's just white, a bunch of white people, and then there's like one red person like
Yeah.
amidst the crowd, or there's even like the arrow one, like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, with Sadula said, was talking about go against those crowd. Those like all those other like white non-figurable people have literally lived the life that you don't want to. You can almost think of it as like a fucking blueprint as to the life that you don't want to live, because they're showing you they're all doing the same fucking thing. They're all taking the safe option, and you see that all of those results end up achieving the life that you don't want. So why would you follow along with that in the first place? You have to be willing to go against that, go the opposite direction, and do what everyone else isn't doing. That's what's called being special.
it's called being a glitch.
Being a glitch. That's
Right.
what a glitch is.
And just trying too. I mean, if you just
Exactly.
try something different, you don't like it, you can always turn back and go with the crowd. Then do another
difficult,
one.
man.
Do another
That's
one.
difficult.
Do another one.
I'll
And
tell you
then-
that.
It's
That's
difficult,
difficult.
but
Yeah,
it's
but I don't
worth
mean
it.
like
It's demoralizing telling your parents they were right. You know what I mean?
But it's worth knowing that you at least tried to do what you want.
But it's not even, dude. It's like who cares about anyone, like what anyone else thinks,
Yeah,
bro?
yeah. What?
It's like
Of the
I know
most-
it's like your parents and shit too. And I had to go through a journey of kind of understanding that they're human and they have opinions, but they're also like not, I don't want to say bots, but it's just like they follow that script.
Right.
You have to understand that and be like, okay, this is why they're saying those things to me, so it's not personal.
Yeah.
You can't take anything personally from your parents and from anyone else, and you can. It's like you said, getting a different perception on it or perceiving it in a different way.
Exactly. You don't have to perceive telling your parents that they're right is demoralizing.
It might hurt. It's gonna hurt, of course. Like going against and like cause dude, you're making a fucking 180. Like
Yeah.
what you did all your life. You're slowly scraping away society's fucking blueprint for you. You're like tearing it apart slowly but surely, one piece at a time. So it's gonna hurt. It's gonna feel painful, and that is the cost of that life that
And
you want to
sometimes
live.
you have to put some things on scale. Which one's harder? Tell them you're right and shrug it off and see them disappointed in you in that moment, or tell them you're right, live what they said, and then at the end you regret for not really doing what you want.
Yeah.